And I'm live. Hello, everybody. I'm sorry for the delay. I just had a crazy morning and I'm still not feeling so great. So as you can hear by my voice, I'm still a little congested, just had another coughing fit. So if I end up coughing like a crazy person, I'm not dying, just letting you know it's all good. But the reason why one second. So if there we go. I have switched off my my sound so that I can see your chat at the same time. I'm going to say hello to everybody. Hello, everybody. Sorry for the delay. I'm finally here and I am ready to answer all of your questions. So basically, I've asked you to give me your questions regarding career and your journey. So I've collected them all and I've received multiple emails from different people, and that's what kind of inspired me to do this, because I think that this information could be useful for a lot of different people and I wanted to share them with all of you. So I have a list of questions that I already have. However, you can also ask me questions here, and so once I'm done with those, I can get to your questions. Again, we're talking about career this time, so have that in mind. All right, let us start. 1 second. Okay, so the first question that I have is from Divya. Divya is a student of information technology and is from New Delhi, India. She is currently studying artificial intelligence and also Android and Java. And she is looking for any internships abroad in the coming summer break. So she's asking for advice on those things, on the internship, basically in that field. Sorry for the cough. Basically, what I would say is, it is a little because from what I understand, the summer break is already starting, right? So it is a little too close to be very picky with what's it called, with internships. Sorry, I'm still sick, so I'm like trying to survive. But the thing is, the summer has already started, and a lot of students start to plan their internships around January. So for next year, if you'd like to be picky with internship, especially abroad, I would recommend starting much, much earlier, because at this point, even if you do find an internship, if you require a visa, and I'm originally Russian, so I know all about requiring a visa when it comes to going to work somewhere. So if you're requiring a visa and if the company agrees to take you, that will be a problem because it takes a while. And this is why it's so important to start looking much earlier. I would, again, recommend starting to look for internships, summer internships, around December, January. This is probably the ideal sweet spot. I know that Google, the Google's internship, the program, the intake starts around October, and I think it finishes in February. So you can see, like, this is the time when people can really apply, and this gives you enough time and the employer enough time to process your information. So I would advise basically looking for anything that you can find locally in as well, because the thing is, you can work locally. It's fine not to go abroad because it's quite short term. So, but at the same time, you are getting the experience, and if it's a paid internship, you're getting some money. So I would say, really try to look for any company that you'd like to work for. See if they have internships left. If not, and it doesn't have to be a big company. You can look for a startup. Again, locally would be much easier for you, especially since it's such a short notice. But even startups, if you see that they don't have an internship position open, email them. Email their HR manager. because they might have a position, they might need a helping hand. And if you don't mind, for example, some of them won't be able to pay you. If you don't mind having an unpaid internship in the return for the experience that this role can provide you, then go for it. You should basically do that. The thing is, at this point, as my dad would always say, at this point, you are working for your CV. And then later, your CV will work for you. So try to get as much interesting stuff that tells your story on your CV right now, even if it's not paid. I know this sucks. Trust me, I've been there myself. I've done so many internships, and it really sucked not getting paid. However, you are getting these skills, and they're very, very important. So I would recommend try to go for anything that you can find at this point, even if it's unpaid. At the end of the day, you need the experience if you're a university student. You need to show that you've worked on projects. Just showing that you have a degree is not necessarily enough in this industry. So try to look for anything you can find at this point, because it's quite short. It's already June, you know. So, and next year, try to look for something starting from December, January, probably. So yeah, I'm sorry that it's not any amazing news in this case, but I think you can find a great internship, even still, or a project that you can work on. It doesn't have to be unnecessarily a coherent internship. It can be projects. At the end of the day, as long as you're getting experience, that's what matters. So yeah. The next question is from Shivani, and she has an undergraduate degree in information technology, and she recently got into Columbia University to do a master's in applied analytics, which is incredible. Well done. Congratulations. That's awesome. Seriously, that's so badass. It's a great school, so good for you. And basically her question is, what skills should she brush up or learn or work on before coming to the US for positions like data analyst, business analyst? And I would say that, to be honest, and there's a second question to this question, but I'll get to that in a bit. I would say that in this case, you're about to start learning applied analytics. I'm pretty sure that you will get all of the knowledge that you need for this position at the moment, as of, you know, what technologies are being used in analytics, because at the end of the day, it's applied analytics. So it means that you will actually use that stuff. What I would recommend is to get more hands-on experience in this sort of field. And how can you do this is looking for companies, again, startups. There's so many startups in New York where you will be. And they all need someone to analyze their data. And you can even take up some projects for free. I know that this is not an ideal situation, but at the beginning, when you don't have a portfolio of things that you've done, again, it's all about experience. It's all about showing your skills. Because, and I've spoken to some recruiters, and I've seen this personally in the tech world, is that sometimes a degree is a nice thing. It's like you tick the box. However, what employers need is a portfolio. What employers need is for you to show a record of your skills, to prove that you understand what you're talking about, to prove that you understand what it takes to work on this project. So if you can take up some projects, and I mean, it doesn't have to be anything huge, but if you can take up some projects that are in the field to start developing those skills and working in teams and interacting with people who, let's say, collect information, And so that when you are looking for those jobs straight out of college, or if you're looking for internships, you will be able to say, hey, I know what I'm going in for. I have worked in it. I love it. This is what I've done. These are the projects that I've worked on. So I would say try to get experience. Doesn't have to be, it can be paid, it can be unpaid. Try to get experience. I am sure that if you actually look at startups and send them emails being like, hey, I would love to work on a project with you, or do you have a position? Maybe they will actually have a paid position that you can do part-time. So try to get experience in that field. And the second question that you have asked is about UX design, user experience design, for those who don't know the abbreviation. But basically, Shivani is asking if I think that because her degree and specialization are not UX related, will she be able to get a job in the field? And Shivani, UX design is an incredible field for a number of reasons. And one of them, and this is what I find the most fascinating probably, is the fact that it didn't exist not that long ago. And so a lot of people who are working in UX, they didn't study UX design at university. They studied web design, interaction design, or philosophy, or anything else. Like, I know a girl who just has organized a UX conference in Beirut where I was speaking. She studied business. So she studied business at the same business school where I was at the same time. Like, I was studying market research and consumer behavior, and she was studying business. And then she took a course in UX design, and she is now working for UX on UX design projects. So it is easy to transfer in this field because user experience design is all about empathy, at least in my experience. Yes, you do need to go through a certain process, but it's very important to understand the user. And the more background and the more experience that you have in different fields, the more insights and the better you understand the potential user. So absolutely, like, if you can take some classes at Columbia, some courses on it, do it. It's fascinating. It's a great, great field. And I think that we're just starting in that field because, I mean, products are everywhere. And it's all about the user now because there's so much competition. So the product has to really solve the user's needs in order to be appealing. And it doesn't necessarily mean it's just web design. It could be a design of a cup, right? Down to these little things, or design of a service, design of a restaurant, of a building, and all that stuff. It's all about user experience right now. So it's a field that will be very, very interesting. And if you're excited about it, please take some electives. You can, again, work on some projects. I have some videos on that. The very long video that I have on user experience design with the General Assembly instructor, Nick, it's 40 minutes long, but it's super interesting. And there's so much interesting information. He talks about how you can start building your portfolio and all that stuff. So watch that video, take electives. And the thing is, even if you don't end up working in that field, it's always great to have tools to understand the user that you're working with. So yeah, guys, just 1 second. I need to blow my nose, as great as it sounds. So I'm going to mute my camera and step out of the frame for a second because I am dying because I can't breathe. I'm alive, and it seems like I can breathe, so let's continue. I'm crying as well. What a tough life. All right, so, okay, let's get back to the questions. I hope that answered your questions, Giovanni. I mean, it's all about experience. Then it comes back to Divya's question as well. It's all about experience. At the end of the day, you need to try to find projects that are interesting to you that you can then use to show off your skills later. Because in this industry, it's all about the skills. It's not just about the degree. It's about the skills. It's about the projects that you've worked on, showing the fact that you know what you're talking about. Another question is from Nancy. Hi, Nancy. Talking about how to become a content writer. And Nancy speaks English, Hindi, Punjabi, and Chinese, which is amazing. Like, seriously, those are incredible languages. And she is currently studying a bachelor on commerce. She's doing that degree. Oh no, she's a graduate. Sorry. Nancy is a graduate. She graduated as a bachelor in commerce, speaks 4 languages, loves writing, and has never worked in the tech world, but wants to be a content writer. So, Nancy, what I would recommend is, and there's so many ways to get into it. If you like writing, start a blog. Have you thought of that? And it can be about anything that you're interested in, but you can start a blog to just start writing and start attracting an audience and trying to understand how things work, because as a content writer, a lot of the times you might need to understand how SEO works, right? The search engine optimization. And when you're doing a blog, you have to think about those things. You need to learn those things on the spot. Also, it would be a great way for you to showcase your writing skills. So that's one way. Another way, and you don't have to have your own blog. You can write on Medium. Medium is a great resource for that kind of stuff. So start a blog, start writing. That's one way. Another way is to, again, approach companies that are writing blogs, for example, and a lot of companies are writing blogs because it helps their SEO and it helps to position them as an expert in the field. And therefore, so for example, a company on social media marketing will definitely talk about social media marketing, or a company that, for example, there's this company called Later that I've been kind of looking at a lot because they help with Instagram and to really be strategic about your posts and all that stuff. And so they have a blog, and that's how I found them, because I was searching for a question. They have a blog, and they're talking about Instagram, of course. They were answering the question that I had. And then I was like, oh, what is this company? What is Later? So a lot of companies have these blogs. You can do that as well. You can approach them and be like, hey, are you looking for a contributor? And I've worked at a startup before where I've worked with a contributor to write blog posts, and she made good money. Like, per blog post, it wasn't that bad. So, start with smaller things, and then you can build your portfolio and start writing more and more. And also, a lot of websites are trying to attract contributors. For example, I know that, oh my God, what was that website called? I know that Every Girl has that. Basically, you can submit an article. What was the other one? Brit & Co. That one also gets submissions. There's so many different websites that are kind of online, these online magazines where you can submit your stuff. So there we go. I hope I've answered your question. Just start writing and start contributing, whether it's your own thing or somebody else's. So yeah, I hope I've answered your question. The next question is from Nick Cooley. It comes from Instagram, and the question is whether coding bootcamps are a good route or not. So we have spoken about skills today, right? And skills are super essential when it comes to the tech industry. Skills and projects and showing that you can do stuff. So if you don't have a degree in computer science, coding boot camps are a way for you to start coding and are a way for you to start working on projects. And I've spoken to some recruiters and they were like, yeah, absolutely. If a person takes a coding boot camp, it's a great way for them to build the skills that they need for a job. It's just, I mean, just like with computer science is very, very much theoretical. So just like with computer science, it's, you need to show projects that you've worked on. So there we go. Yeah, they're great. You just need to build a portfolio of projects after that or doing that, and slowly take up jobs that will make you more and more marketable to employers. Just at the end of the day, you need to understand what you want to do and focus on that, because there's so much. There's so much you can do. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. Let me just quickly go through the chat because there's so much happening. Wow, you guys are very, very active. Somebody's recommended Code Academy. It's great. Yeah, Fabio, Code Academy is amazing. And okay, so some good questions. Guys, I will get to them as soon as I go through my list. Just pretty long, but still, I will go through them, and maybe in the meantime, I will answer them. I want to prioritize the ones that I have received before, because, you know, it's, those people have really put in their effort before the live stream and asked their questions, but I will get to your questions as well. Don't you worry. The next question is from Niket Vanya. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, but the question is what and how to take hands-on game development or ethical hacking and security if possible. So those are two very different fields, and I would recommend to decide what you're interested in first, because there's just so much, and it's a whole new industry within the tech industry. Ethical hacking and security is huge, and there's so many different courses that you can take. Same with game development. I would say first decide what you would like to try, and maybe what you can do is go on Udemy. Udemy is a great resource for different boot camps and courses, and they constantly have these huge sales. So for like $11, you can get a boot camp in one or the other and see if you like it, because you can't pursue them both at the same time. So I would recommend trying yourself out in both to see whether you like it or not. And by trying yourself out in both, I mean, try studying them and try applying some of the basic skills that you get. Doesn't mean like, don't spend months and months learning them. Spend like a couple of days learning one, a couple of days learning the other, and compare what makes you happier. Because at the end of the day, if it doesn't make you happy, it's when learning, it's not going to make you happy when you are actually doing it, because you're applying the same logic and the same stuff. So I would recommend try different courses on these things and try to figure out which one actually interests you the most. The next question is from Zendegi Dar America. How do you find an internship as soon as finishing programming class? I have an R programming course this summer, and I'm not sure if I can find an internship with 0 job experience. So we've actually talked about it a little bit. Try to find projects, try to find startups or companies that are small that might need your help. And that's the thing. A lot of these things won't be paid for, but you need to work on your portfolio. You need to work on your resume in order to find an internship. However, you might find a paid one straight away. But again, you need to prove that you can do stuff. So maybe during your programming course, you're already working on some projects. Use those, or go through with them even further, like explore them further so that you can showcase that you have a portfolio. So it's all about showing the potential employer that you have the skills. You have worked on projects that require these skills, and this is how this project turned out. So yeah, I would say try to, before you finish, try to start building your portfolio and reach out to people, because maybe you'll find an internship pretty easily having reached out. But if you don't look, and if you don't have anything that proves that you can perform those things, that you have those skills, it might not be, might be much harder. So I hope I've answered your question. Build your portfolio and reach out to people. Yeah. Dancing steps 1. I recently graduated and been quite confused in my career and figuring out the road to take. So, dancing steps. I would recommend try different things. Like, what are you the happiest doing? And don't tell me something like shopping, or I don't know. Although even if you are shopping and that's when you're the happiest, you can go into the, the fashion world, the shopping industry. That could be a sign that this is the path you can take. I would say think about what makes you happy and try different things, because a lot of graduates, the problem is that somebody was holding your hand all this time. And bear with me on this metaphor. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that when you were at school, you knew what was next. When you were at university, you knew what was next and how to succeed at a test, at an exam. You had to study. This is what you needed to study and all that stuff. And then when you finish university, it's like, oh, what do I do? All of a sudden, you're kind of like thrown into this pond and you're like, how do I swim? So, especially with our generation and younger generations, it's not going to be straightforward. You're not going to graduate and be like, aha, I know what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do it for the next 50 years. No, this is not how it's going to work. So it's a normal state that you're in. Don't worry. And I'm still in that state a lot of the times. I'm like, okay, so I'm doing this. What's next? But that's the exciting part of it, right? Figuring out what's next and creating opportunities for yourself. But I see it as, okay, so you have a skill set. You can do this, this, and this. What it means is that it opens doors in front of you. You can go towards this door. For example, in my case, I can go into just digital marketing. I can go into content strategy. I can go into, I don't know, like entrepreneurship trainings or whatever. I can start my own business. There's so many doors that I have right now. And depending on which door is the most interesting door for me right now, I'm going to go there. But after I go through that door and I get those skills, more doors open up in front of me, and it's up to me to choose which door I'm going to go for. So I would recommend figure out your doors and figure out what door would make you the happiest at the moment. And don't think that once you go through that door, this is the only door you're going to stick with. No, you're going to be able to switch your career paths if you don't like that one. You are going to build your skills and you're going to be able to choose what is next. This is how careers work nowadays. They're not a straight line, just like at least my parents were, more or less. This is the mentality. You start with a company, you're doing this one thing, and then you do it for 10 years, then you get promoted on the way, and then you stick with the company for another 10 years and another 10 years. No, don't worry about this. Try different things. Open doors. See whether this door is good for you or not. As long as, you open the door and you don't leave within 6 months, because that's when the problems with your CV might arise. Like, why did you leave so quickly? Did they fire you? Like, explain, why did you work for only 6 months there? But, once you've worked somewhere for a year, you can basically go for another door. Let's go back to my metaphor. So yeah, I hope that is helpful. Nobody has it figured out. Everybody's confused. Just do what makes you happy and choose the path that makes you happy. And of course, if it's making you money, that's also good, because you are an adult and you need to be able to feed yourself. So yeah, I hope that was that has answered your question. Zibeza Zaukari, sorry if I'm mispronouncing it, says that I really want to study CS, computer science, but I'm afraid to be unsuccessful, get bored later. What would you say about it? So, computer science it's great. It is phenomenal. It gives you the great logic that you will need when coding. However, it's very theoretical, and even if you do computer science, a lot of the times you will need to work on a portfolio of projects and work on your own programming skills after that. So I would say if you can take because I don't know whether you're at a university or not yet. I don't know if you finished school or if you're trying to go back to the university. I would say there are online computer science courses, and you can find them on, for example, Coursera. I think they should be free on Coursera. Try doing a couple of one of those and seeing whether you get excited about this logic. Because if not, maybe 4 years or 3 years, depending on how long the course is, maybe it won't be a great investment of your time and money. Maybe you can study something else, because, I mean, when you code and you have a background in something else, it gives you even more perspective on life and more insights. Not saying that computer science is bad at all. No. I'm just saying that it just gives you a different background to build upon all of the other skills. So maybe a computer science degree will not be for you. Just try and see. And if it's not, you can always do a coding bootcamp. We've just spoken about that. They're also great if you want to end up working at a technical role. So there we go. And guys, I need to blow my nose once again. So 1 minute. Oh, what is wrong with me? It's the 4th week of me being sick. Seriously, it's crazy. But let's get back to the questions. Next question is from Saways. I have many skills in front of me to learn for, but I can't decide which to take, and I've been advised to not to become jack of all trades. Mainly, I would suggest the network, data engineering, and core Java. But I really need to ask, should I need to learn the typical programming skills or not to learn for a better future? So what I would say is there's so many different directions you can take, so many different doors, right? Let's go back to that metaphor. So many different doors, and decide on what door is fun for you, because all of the skills that you've just listed will take you to a great job. You know, if you look for a job, if you're good at it, you can get a really, really nice job with all of those skills. However, which ones are you interested in doing? Are you interested in networks? Are you interested in data and analysis? Are you interested in programming? You don't have to have a set skill set. to succeed in life. You can be very good at data analytics, and that will get data analytics and not like programming, like building actual, I don't know, web applications, and it will get you a great position. You don't have to have it all. Just focus on something, and to focus on something, figure out what you enjoy, what makes you happy. So here we go. I hope I've answered your question. And the next question is from Ms. Terpresh. The question is, when you have dreams and chasing your career and a country that doesn't encourage you or support you, what do you do? Oh, so I've also copied the next version of this question is, when you have a greater dream on your career as a back-end web developer and software developer, but you find out that your country doesn't encourage you or support you, what will you do? I don't understand to which extent your country doesn't support you or encourage you, but I would say unless your country is preventing you from doing it, you're in the same boat as most people, because yes, there are programs to get people to learn how to code, and in the US, let's say, but nobody is really going to encourage you. The country doesn't necessarily do it, so it should come from you. If you are interested in it, go for it. Go do it. Like, I myself knew that I wasn't going to work in my country of birth because I felt like there were other opportunities outside and I wanted to pursue those. So nothing stopped me, even though I needed visas to go everywhere. So you can do this. You just need to work on it. You need to figure out what exactly you want to learn, get a coding course, and start learning and start working on projects. And that's it. Don't think about your country supporting or encouraging you. The country, in an ideal world, the country will do that. But we don't live in an ideal world. And unless your country is prohibiting you from learning these skills, nothing is stopping you. And you're in the same boat as most people, because I don't know many countries that are encouraging and supporting people. Yes, maybe some countries might have entrepreneurship programs, to support entrepreneurs. Some countries might have programs for example, in Russia, supporting families to have more babies. Those things, yes, I understand, because those are for the economy, but I don't know of a country that is really supporting and encouraging people to go into tech. Just do it. You can do it. I know. I believe in you. So get that coding course, coding bootcamp, and go for it. All right. So girls love to code. How can I make it to Google? What are the few tips that you'd give an undergrad related to computer science? Also, if not Google, what other big companies one should apply for a job or an internship in? So to make it to Google, and I mean, it was my dream as well. I was obsessed with trying to work at Google for half a year, and I finally got in after a couple of tries. So to get to Google, I actually wrote a blog post about it, and it tells you about how to look for a job and how to interview. So check it out on my website, which is codingblonde.com. But I would say, first, figure out what you want to do. Again, what makes you happy, what interests you, because if you're going to do this for the rest of your life, or for the next chunk of time, for the next, let's say, 3 years, you want to enjoy it. So figure out what it is that you'd like to do, because there's so much. Is it data analytics? Is it software engineering, or backend stuff, or systems, or networks? What is it that you're interested in? and develop your skills. Work on some projects. Again, work on projects to prove that you have skills, that you know how to work on this specific area. And after that, apply to companies. Look at if Google has something for you that might be interesting. It might not. And the thing is, it's not the end of the world. There's Microsoft, there's Facebook out of these big companies. There are smaller companies too that are amazing and can give you such great experience. You just have to look for it. But before you do, figure out what it is that you want to do, because once you know that, things will get much easier, because you'll understand, okay, so this company has a big unit, has a big department doing this particular stuff. So it means that there are probably a lot of experienced people that I can learn from. I will go there. Or, you know, they're looking for new people, you know, their department is growing. I will try it. So I would say figure out what you want to do first, and then start looking for ideal companies. There's also IDEO, like that's another company of my dreams. Like it's an incredible, almost a design thinking company, which is awesome. So yeah, I hope I've answered your question. Figure out what you want to do, and then look for companies that actually have those roles and those positions, and also get some projects in that field on your portfolio, on your CV or resume, so that you can apply and look good. But good luck. Okay, so a question from Yuvraj. Which programming languages have scope in the near future? And should one go for backend programming or front end, or both? I would say in the near future, from what I understand at the moment, everybody is all over the place. A lot of people are working in Python. A lot of people are working in other data analytics languages. Some are working in C. Oh my God, C hash. I'm having a brain eclipse. But basically, there are many different languages, and again, it just depends on what you want to do. I wouldn't choose a programming language because it's a programming language that people are using, but I would choose a programming language based on what you enjoy doing. And that goes to your second part of the question, backend versus front end versus full stack. What do you enjoy? What do you like the most? Do you like systems? Do you like databases and stuff like that? Maybe then backend is for you. Are you enjoying stuff around how things are designed and how things are interacting on the page? Maybe front end is for you. And if you enjoy both, full stack. And full stack developers are great because they're versatile. So any company can, that just means that any company can either employ you for one or the other, you know, front end or back end, or for the full stack stuff. And there's so many, again, startups or smaller companies that can't afford to have a front end and a back end developer. So they end up going for someone who knows both, full stack. So I would say figure out what you want to do, and then the languages will come after that. So I hope I've answered that question. And the last question on my list, the last but not least, the final question, and I'm going to go to the chat in a second, is from Jack Trade Jr. Yeah, what if a medical undergraduate wants to enter the tech arena? Stanford Uni has a course where they teach to develop medical devices, and it is open for engineers and doctors as well. Has Google ever taken in any medical undergraduates to work on their projects? So first of all, I would say, yes, medical undergraduates entering the tech arena, yes, absolutely. Like, I think that there's so much opportunity for you know, like a cross between medicine and tech. I mean, there's so much opportunity. I was talking to a friend not that long ago about the cybersecurity with medical devices. That's also another interesting field, because apparently there's been already a case where hackers have hacked into someone's pacemaker and killed a person. So that is medicine and technology, medicine and cybersecurity in this case, right? So how do you protect hospitals? How do you protect them from all these potential attacks? And developing medical devices to prevent that, or just developing medical devices in general, that is such a huge area. One of my friends works in medical devices right now, and it's a huge, huge industry. So absolutely go for it. If you can take that Stanford course, do it. It will position you as a unique specialist in this field, because not only you have the technical skills, but you have the medical background to back it up. So go for it. And in terms of whether Google has taken in any medical undergraduates for their projects, to be honest, I don't know. But there's so many different people from different backgrounds. So if you are skilled and if you're great, go for it. But I would say, if you have medicine as your background and if you have this unique skills, don't go for a job that doesn't let you, unless you don't enjoy it. Don't go for a job that doesn't let you apply those skills, because those skills are, again, super unique and super valuable. So use that cross between medicine and technology for your benefit, to position yourself as a unique expert, and don't settle for a position that is not involving both of those things. Unless, again, you're not enjoying the cross between medicine and technology and you just want to go in technology, in that case, go for a job that makes you happy. It's all about making people happy, right? So I hope I've answered your question. And now I am going to go through your questions here. So, oh my God. Mohammed, I didn't screw up at Google so that I had to leave. It was just a career transition. It was time for me to move to something else, and I also wanted to move here. So I can always go back to Google if I really want to. But at the moment, I'm really enjoying the place where I am, and I'm developing skills that I can then showcase and sell myself even better. It's all about that. Renata Olivier, please give us tips or a website to learn how to code or build a website. This is not necessarily a career-related question, but I'll answer that. So, Renata, I have a blog post and a video about that. So you can head over to codingblonde.com, and yeah, I have that blog on. I think it's called. I have that blog post. It's called "Which Coding Course is Right for You." So go there, and I have a lot of things listed there. But Code Academy is great, just like Fabio told you. So hell yeah, it's great. All right, Spunky Technology. Hi, Hanan. Once I was on one of your lives on Instagram when I asked you about a tech job with Bachelor of Science, Maths, and Statistics. How do I get internships in Western world, since there aren't much here? Okay, so basically you want internships in the West. Again, I don't know where you are coming from, but potentially you might need a visa. That's the problem I had. So it is very difficult with internships to get a job. Sorry, not a job, a visa for an internship, because a lot of the times it means that this position is not paid, because a lot of internships in the West are not paid, and also they're not looking for a candidate that is so hard to find that they need to provide a visa. So that is the harsh reality. I would say try to work remotely if you can. try to find a company that would employ you remotely for what you are, the skills that you are applying, the job that you want to do, and build a portfolio of those things. Build your CV with all of those things to showcase that, yes, you have worked at for those kind of projects. And then you can start applying for jobs. Once you have enough of those projects that you can showcase, you can start applying for jobs. And jobs are the ones that will potentially get you a visa. It just depends on which country. It's harder to get a visa in some countries versus others. So this is what I personally struggled with when I first was a recent graduate, because I needed a visa to go everywhere. And companies, I'd get interviews and they'd be like, yay, let's talk about you and your skills. And the first thing I'd say would be, because I didn't want to get too invested and I didn't want to go through the interview or go through the waiting process, trying to guess whether they will give me a visa or not. I would straight away say, hi guys, like just before we get started, I want to figure out, or like, I just wanted to let you know that I would need a visa for this position. So would you be able to provide it? And a lot of employers were not ready to provide it. And in different countries, it's different, but just wanted to prepare you for this. It's difficult, but once you build your CV, it gets easier and they see your value. Oh, I can see that you're from India. You probably might need a work visa to come anywhere, to work anywhere in the West. Yeah, try to find a remote job. Actually, a friend of mine, he is Indian. He's a developer and he works remotely for a company here in Denver. So you can find remote work, and that's the thing. Like they still pay you as a position here, so that's good money. It's just you're not physically anywhere else. But once you build your portfolio, once you build your CV, that's when you can start applying for jobs and hopefully get a visa. So good luck to you. Like, it's tough, but you can do it. I believe in you, Hanan. Yeah. All right. So next question is from Hussein. If I have some free time, shall I dedicate it or sharpen my web development skills? Or should I concentrate on trending things like deep learning, AI, data science? Is web development really dying? I don't think it's really dying. I don't think it's dying at all. In fact, it's just going at a steady rate. It's not like booming like AI or anything else, but it is just growing at a steady rate and it's normal. So I would say, again, what is the thing that interests you? What is the thing that if you have to take work home on weekends that you would be excited about, that you would not get super tired of? Find what field that is and work on that. Sharpen your skills there. So yeah, I hope I've answered your question. Okay. All right. So sorry guys, I'm still not great, but hey, yeah, so I see great advices to Hanan and to Renata. Well done, guys. You guys are amazing. So Hanan is asking about internships offered by Google. Yes, the internships offered by Google are a lot of the times they don't want to give you a visa. They don't want to have to give you a visa again. So that is a problem, unfortunately. So yeah, back to what I said. Try to find work with someone remotely, and then once you build your CV, once you build your resume, move. So yeah. And Shivani, I'm glad I can see that you you were listening to my response to your question. I'm glad I could help. Next question is from Shubham. For students, Google Summer of Code is the way to go, but for others, it's tough chance. But there are other opportunities at Google Careers. Yeah, absolutely. And guys, Google is not the only company where you can apply. There's so many other companies, and there's startups where you can learn even more because you are wearing multiple hats. You have to do so many different things and take up projects, take up different internships. It's not only about Google. Google is amazing. It's a great company, but there are other great companies out there as well. So don't just focus on Google. There are other companies. Focus on your skills and focus on what interests you. And if you end up at Google, that will be amazing. That will be a great side effect. So yes. All right. One second. I have lost where I was, but I just noticed that Ali was here. Ali, I miss you. Hello. I will message you soon. Okay, there's so many questions. Okay. Does Microsoft, Facebook, or other tech giants host anything like the Google Summer of Code? I actually don't know, but I will check. And thank you, Shubham, for answering about HackerRank. That's awesome. The thing is, guys, there are also hackathons that are not related to these companies, but these companies are sponsoring them. So check those out. Yes. Okay. Yes, exactly, Shubham. Great point. People who are looking for content writing can convert this live stream into concise blog posts. Yes, I'm all over the place because the questions are all over the place. But yeah, it just convert this into a blog post. That's it. And that's how we start. Christian Skinner. Yes, I answer everybody. What is the typical starting salary? It really depends. I don't know. It depends on what skills you have, what company you're applying for, because startups versus big companies. Also, it depends on the country, because a lot of countries have different salaries. The starting salary in the US versus the starting salary in the UK is completely different. And the starting salary in Russia versus Germany or versus India, completely different. So it just really depends. But there's this website called Glassdoor, and they talk about salaries. Basically, from what I understand, different employees of the companies would submit anonymously, submit their salaries in there. So you can kind of see a benchmark for the different positions, how much a company would pay. And then I have a lot of hellos. Hello to everybody. Brazil, Indonesia, you guys are awesome. Renata Oliveira, Masha, do you think getting a certification in any IT position is more valid than just having a degree? I think that certification or no certification, it's all about what you have done and how you can prove it. I have done a video on this, actually. It's called, Do You Need a Computer Science Degree to Work in Tech? And on that video, I went to a Google Careers website, and I searched for a software engineer position to look at the qualifications that are needed. And guess what? You need a bachelor in computer science or an equivalent work experience. So it's not about a certification or a bachelor degree. It's about what you can do and the skills that you have and how you can prove them, having worked on different projects. So I hope that answers your question. How important is math in programming? Horrific. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, but logic is important. Math is not necessarily important. Logic is important. So that's the distinction. But math and logic a lot of the times go together. So yeah. Okay, Fabio is saying, hi, Coding Blonde. I'm from Brazil and I expect to move to Europe for work. I'm a Java backend developer. What do you think about this? And what's your advice? That's awesome. I think that there are a lot of opportunities in Europe, just depending on where you want to move. I don't know if you've already organized the move or not, because again, you might need a visa. I've had a lot of Brazilian colleagues back at Google and they did need visa. So if you haven't made the move, if you don't have a company where you're working with, I would say start looking at that now. And I know that Berlin and Germany in general actually has an easier visa system, and maybe Ireland as well. Berlin and Ireland could be easier to get into, especially, you know, having such a booming startup community and just tech community in general. So I would try those countries first, maybe London as well, but in the UK is harder to get a visa into. See what you can do. So my advice is try to go for countries where there's a lot of tech companies and it's relatively easy to get a visa. So I hope I've answered your question. Best hackathons in USA for Indians. I actually don't know the answer to this question, but I will do my research and I'll get back to you. All right, you guys are talking to each other, which is awesome. Vishal, Android developer, which language do I have to learn, Java or Kotlin? I can't necessarily answer that. I'm not that well versed in Android development, but I will get back to you on that. I promise. Go on my Instagram and I will post about it sometime soon. Then French student in computer science in an engineering school. I was wondering, how do you know where you want to go after graduation? As a foreigner, is it easy to work in the US? So basically, again, I've already answered the question, like how to find what to do after university, and that basically don't put pressure on yourself to find something perfect straight away. So if you haven't watched that piece, watch it in recording because this video will be accessible using this link after. And it was at the beginning. It was it wasn't, well, it was close to the middle, I would say. But yeah, basically, I've already answered that question. So I don't know if you've seen that response. But as a foreigner, it's easy to work in the US. I would say the hardest thing is the visa and getting someone to sponsor your visa and get it. But otherwise, it's fine. Otherwise, if you know English and if you find a job, it's great. It's just the immigration bit that is tough. Another question about an internship in USA as an iOS developer from Sumajit. Again, it is very difficult to get a visa in the US, so that might be a problem. Otherwise, you can definitely find an internship. It just might be remote. And if you're fine with that, yeah, it's pretty easy. There's so many startups. Or you can find a job that way. So many startups, reach out to them, look at job postings, and you can find someone. I will actually, this is making me think that I should create a separate piece of content. I don't know whether it's going to be a blog post or a video, but around how to get an internship in the US, like remotely, or a job remotely in the US. So basically stay updated with my social media and sign up to my newsletter if you guys don't want to miss it. I have put the link in the description of the video to my newsletter where you can sign up. I will definitely update you on that once I have the information. And Ant is from Thailand and studying computer science, is just 19 years old. And in the future, he wants to work at Google, Microsoft, etc. in USA, England, or Australia. I would say that is awesome. Continue studying. What my advice is, figure out what you find interesting and develop your skills in that area. Pick up projects, work with different companies that might not pay you or might pay you to work on projects that will showcase your skills. And this way you will get your foot through the door, work on your CV, and you will be able to apply for jobs that will then lead you to Google, Microsoft, or any of the big companies. So yes. C#. Yeah, thank you so much, everybody. I keep on having problems with C#. I keep on saying C hash. Anyways, all right. So some questions. What do you think JavaScript will be able to do anything in a few years? Why not? I think it, you know, I don't think it's going away anytime soon. Or at least JavaScript libraries are going to be used. For example, Google, if you are trying to do anything with Google Sheets or any of those like Google Cloud programs, if you want to create any like automations or whatever, you do it basically in JavaScript. That is how they position themselves. This is the language they're using. So I don't think it's going to go away anytime. All right. And great. I am so great. I'm so happy that I have answered Jack Trade's question at the beginning of the live stream. James Reed, do you think JavaScript will be able for everything effectively in a few years? Oh, okay. So basically, from if I understand this question correctly, do I think that you will be able to do everything in JavaScript from front end to back end to machine learning and game development? I don't think that JavaScript will be the language that will take over the world. To be honest, I think that there will be others that complement it. So, but JavaScript will definitely be powerful. I would think that Python is also another language that could be applied in so many different ways. So, I mean, it's already great for data science and programming, like, actually creating web applications and stuff like that. So I would say JavaScript will be definitely important, but there will be other languages such as C#. Yay, I pronounced it right. All right, off topic. So the World Cup is in Russia now. Would you be attending any match of it? No, I will not be. I can't fly there can't fly there right now. I mean, tickets are pretty expensive, so yeah. But Fabio, what is my next steps in my career? Well, I am super passionate about entrepreneurship, and I am currently cradling this idea of a startup that I'd love to start. And if I do, I will make sure to document this process, to put all of this stuff on Coding Blonde, whether in the format of videos or in format of a podcast. I don't know how it will happen, but I have this idea that, yes, that could be the next step. So I would love to have my own business and my own software, and my own tech company. So that could be the next step. I don't know. I can't promise you anything. Again, it's all about the different doors. And I'm thinking about opening that door. I haven't opened that door yet. So, but I'll keep you updated. Don't you worry. All right. And Jack Trade, thank you so much for answering questions within the chat. That is amazing. You are amazing. That is awesome. What are my suggestions, Nan, again, what are my suggestions for a startup in Internet of Things, and what could be some issues that need to be solved using that ACTU? I don't quite understand this question, sorry. If you mean in terms of career, what are the issues? I don't see any issues. In terms of issues with the Internet of Things, is the biggest issue that I see right now is cybersecurity, the fact that they're super vulnerable and they make your whole system vulnerable because people can use them to then infect other devices and get to systems. But that's the only issue I see. So I hope I've answered your question. And also they're sometimes creepy collecting data. Gulton, what about digital marketing? Is it worthwhile field to go with? I have a background in computer science. I mean, absolutely. Computer science is amazing. And, okay, one second, I've lost the question. Computer science is amazing. Digital marketing is amazing. And you can find a way to kind of merge them. You can find a way to merge them. I mean, if you know how to do basic front-end development, you can go into digital marketing and do some front-end development at the same time. The thing is, we are going digital all the time. Like, these babies are with us at all times, and the digital marketing industry is just at the beginning, you know? I think that there's so many different opportunities in there, and if you do want to go in there, great, and you have a background in computer science, that makes you a unique candidate. Again, it's this cross of unique skills. So yeah, absolutely. What websites can you find job opportunities in the UK apart from LinkedIn? I would say that LinkedIn is the most coherent structure from what I've seen. The job postings, the other job posting websites that I have seen that are like all over the US, they're not so great, but they're local ones. So for example, I know that here in Colorado, there's this job posting resource called Built in Colorado, and that is much better than any other, you know, all over the US website, because you'll get a lot of, let's say, noise in there, stuff that you don't necessarily need. So I would say it just depends on the area. Maybe do some research depending on where in the US you'd like to go. And again, if you're looking for Colorado, Built in Colorado. I will start a collection. You guys are inspiring me to start a collection of those resources that I can help you further. But yeah, LinkedIn is, from my experience, has been the most cohesive one. So yes. I am so glad that you guys enjoyed my answers. People are asking me where am I from. I'm from Russia originally. And thank you, Renata. I hope I feel better soon, but it's much better now at this point. So yeah. And then reading for more questions. All right, and Hanan, I'm so glad that you enjoyed my live streams and my responses. So happy. And I will find you on Instagram and follow you back. Actually, can you comment on my latest Instagram picture so that I definitely know which, because if you have a different name on Instagram, I'll not be able to find you. So comment on my latest Instagram post saying that you're Hanan. Yay! All right, Aparna is asking what subjects like AI, gaming, etc. have a good scope for masters. I have spoken about this so many times, and I'm going to repeat myself again. It depends on what you want to do. The thing is, your masters will help you get a job, your next job. But what do you want to do? Like, are you interested in AI, or are you interested in gaming? Are you interested in data analysis? What is it that you want to do and you will enjoy doing after that master's? try maybe doing, again, like some online courses where you don't invest a lot of time and money into them. Try to see what you enjoy and then decide on the masters. So there we go. And trying to see. Oh, by issues in IoT, I meant what are the problems you think need to be solved by IoT? Oh, there's so many problems. I can't even start with that. It's just, I mean, health problems are the first things that come to mind, probably. You know, again, like measuring our heart rates or measuring our temperature and stuff like that. And IoT devices have already started doing that. It's just, it's an industry that's moving slowly, but it will literally be everywhere. And again, I am a little paranoid about the fact that they will make us more vulnerable to cybersecurity attacks. So yeah. And okay, let me answer one more question. And Yuvraj is asking if I've ever been to the Silicon Valley. Yes, I have. I mean, I was working at and before I worked at Google, I have some family in San Francisco, so I went to visit them, and I went to see the Google office back then, and then I worked in Google, and I went to the headquarters, the YouTube headquarters there, the one where there was the shooting. So I know that one really well because I've been there a couple of times, and back to the Google office. So yeah, it's a great area. I love it. There's so much innovation and tech in the air. It's great. So yeah, and thank you, Jack Shepard, for saying that my English is good. Thank you very much. Having a partner, I'm glad I could answer your question. It's all about what you want to do at the end of the day. It's your career. It's not nobody else's. And okay, one more question, Jackie D. What companies have interviews in which hiring managers aren't the one interviewing other than Google and Facebook? Oh my God. A lot of the times, and this is again from my experience because I've spoken to a lot of different hiring managers, a lot of the times the first person who does the interview is a hiring manager. They kind of decide whether to go ahead or not, because once they've had the interview, then they will pass it on to a team member or to the manager of the person, like the future manager potentially of the person. So in my experience, a lot of the times the hiring manager is involved in the hiring process. However, in some startups, when, for example, if you don't have a hiring manager because, yeah, the company is too small, in startups, I would say that this would not happen and the teammates might interview straight away, or the CEO and all that stuff. So I hope I've answered your question. It has been an hour, so thank you guys so much for joining. I am so happy that you found value in this, and thank you again for joining. If you want to stay updated with all my stuff, there's a link in the description to my newsletter, and I'm really planning to start being active, but not spammy active in terms of providing value and content that you've asked for, that you're interested in, and making sure that you actually see it. Because, for example, the one about internships in the US, I will definitely follow up on that, and I will send the link to the post or to the video in my newsletter. So yeah, sign up to that, and I will see you everywhere else. So everywhere else on social media. So thank you so much for joining. Have a wonderful time of the day you're currently experiencing. Bye.